All right, so you're ready to finally tackle that clutter, huh?
Sounds like it.
Well, we thought we'd take a deep dive into Marie Kondo's The Art of Discarding today.
Oh, good choice.
See if we can get some clarity on this whole decluttering thing.
Yeah. And maybe even find a little more joy along the way.
More joy.
You'd be surprised.
Tell me more. I mean, I always thought discarding was just, like getting rid of stuff, right?
Well, it's kind of like that, but it's more about figuring out, I guess, what you really value,
Oh, interesting.
and then like making space for more of that good stuff.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so Kondo like starts by explaining how, how our whole relationship with all this stuff we own has like changed.
Changed.
Yeah, over time. I mean, in the past, people, they really cherished their things. They used them till they were like completely worn out.
Right.
And even the whole idea of wastefulness, like, they had this this concept in Japan called motanai.
Motanai.
It's this feeling of like regret or shame when when something's wasted.
Oh, I see.
So, back then people really thought about their things.
I guess so.
Yeah. But today it's different, isn't it? I mean, we're like constantly told to buy more.
Oh, totally.
New and improved versions, of stuff we already have.
I know, it's crazy.
It's like this cycle of just like always getting more, more, more.
Right, always accumulating.
Exactly. And, Kondo even talks about this personal story. Like, she moved a lot.
Ah.
And she realized she was holding on to so much stuff, just like unnecessary things.
Yeah.
And she compares that to her mother. Her mother grew up with this whole post-war thinking. Like, possessions were really valuable then because, they went through real scarcity.
Wow, that puts things in perspective.
It does, right.
Yeah.
Like, our relationship with all our stuff has gotten, I don't know, more complicated.
Definitely more complicated. So is this something everyone struggles with, is feeling overwhelmed by things?
Oh, yeah. You're not alone. In fact, Kondo did this informal survey.
A survey.
Yeah, she called it the Can't Discard Survey. And you know what she found?
What?
Almost everyone, men and women, everyone struggles with this whole clutter thing. They've got things they know they should get rid of,
But they can't.
but they just can't.
So what are those things? What's everyone holding on to?
The usual suspects.
Yeah.
Books, clothes, photos, that kind of stuff.
Right.
But there were some differences between men and women.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like men tend to hang on to more information type things,
Oh, yeah. Like papers and files.
Yeah, exactly. And women, they seem to struggle more with clothes.
Oh, that's interesting. It's like our clutter kind of reflects our roles in society a little bit,
Yeah.
in a way.
But the thing is, like, we all struggle with letting go.
We do. Kondo even says this thing, and it's a little radical, but she's like,
Let's hear it.
if you don't know what to do with something, just get rid of it.
Whoa, okay.
Like, disposal is totally an option.
Right.
That's a new way to think about it.
Right. I mean, we always feel like we have to keep everything just in case.
Or for someday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, that brings us to the heart of the matter.
Okay.
Those psychological barriers Kondo talks about.
Oh, this is where it gets good.
The things that make us cling to all our stuff, even when we know deep down it might be better to just let it go.
This is so me. I'm already seeing myself in this just-in-case trap.
Oh, we all do it.
Yeah.
Kondo even has a name for it. It's that whole keep for now mentality.
Keep for now.
Yeah, like think about those newspapers. They're piling up, right?
Yeah.
Just in case you need them.
Yes. Or like leftovers in the fridge.
Oh, tell me about it.
Totally gonna eat those later.
And then, bam,
Yeah.
they just sit there.
Yeah, I'm the queen of uneaten leftovers.
Uh-huh. We've all been there.
Seriously, though, what can we do about this?
Well, Kondo points out that, a lot of times this temporary storage just becomes permanent.
Oh.
It's like part of the problem adds to the whole feeling of clutter,
Right.
And then there's the dangers of temporary storage.
Dangers.
Yeah, like she gives these examples from work, like your
Yeah.
desk drawer overflowing with stuff.
Okay. Yes.
Or those project files haven't been touched in forever.
Oof. I feel personally attacked right now. My desk drawer is a black hole.
It's like things go in there to die.
Seriously. So it's not just about losing stuff. It's like,
It affects your productivity too.
oh, really?
Yeah, and your peace of mind. It's like it weighs you down,
Okay, I'm starting to see the light here.
Good. But those aren't the only barriers. There's more.
More. Okay, lay it on me. What else keeps us hanging on to all this stuff?
Well, there's this thing Kondo calls the illusion of sometime.
The illusion of sometime.
Yeah, it's like we convince ourselves we'll use something someday, eventually.
Oh, I know this one. Like clothes I'm saving for when I lose weight.
Exactly. Or those craft supplies for that project you'll totally do one day.
Guilty as charged. So it's all just procrastination.
A lot of it is, yeah. We're just putting off making a decision.
So we talked about keep for now and the illusion of sometime. What else is there?
There's the trap of convenience.
Convenient.
It's like we think buying all these gadgets and tools will make life easier.
Oh, I've fallen for that one too many times.
It's so tempting, right?
Very much.
Those infomercials, those as seen on TV things, promising to like change our lives.
How can they end up in the junk drawer,
Yeah.
right?
And Kondo says it's because we're buying into the idea of convenience.
But they don't actually fit our lives.
Exactly.
Okay, this is fascinating. What other barriers are we up against?
Well, one that's really powerful is the sacred status of items.
Sacred?
Yeah, it's like we give so much meaning to certain things.
Like sentimental stuff.
Exactly. Mementos, or even like books.
Right, things you just can't imagine parting with.
It's like they become untouchable.
Yeah, because of all the emotions and memories tied to them.
Exactly. And this one, it's probably the hardest barrier to overcome.
I can see that.
It's so tied to who we are, our past, our sense of self.
So how do we even begin to address that? How do we let go of things that feel so important?
Well, that's where the real work of the art discarding comes in.
Okay, I'm ready.
It's not just about tossing stuff out.
It's about changing how we think about it all.
It's about shifting our whole mindset.
Okay, let's dive into that next. So this mindset shift, how do we actually do it? Like, how do we start thinking differently about all our stuff?
Wakando's got some really insightful ideas about that.
Okay.
It's like the art of discarding, it's really about valuing what truly matters in the end.
Not just like tidying up. Right.
Right. It's deeper. It's about, figuring out why we hold on to things.
And what purpose they have in our lives.
Exactly. Like, we have to look at our stuff in a whole new light.
That's tough.
I know, but she even says, when I'm dead, it will all be trash.
Whoa, that's a little blunt.
I know, it sounds kind of harsh, but yeah, it's actually kind of freeing when you think about it.
Yeah, it makes you realize what's really important.
It does. It's like a reminder to just live a clutter-free life now.
Yeah, don't wait, right?
Exactly. Like, free yourself from the burden of all that extra stuff.
Make space for what actually brings joy.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm ready to embrace this whole discarding mindset. But how do we actually get started? Like, where do we even begin?
Don't worry, Kondo's got some practical strategies we can use, like, right away.
Okay, good, because I need a plan.
It's all about taking action, being decisive and not putting it off.
Decisive action, got it.
So one of the simplest things, but really effective, is just discard stuff as soon as you open it.
What do you mean?
Like junk mail, those giveaway items, all that packaging.
Oh, you mean stuff that just ends up cluttering our homes without us even realizing it?
Exactly. It's like stopping clutter before it even starts.
That's smart.
Right. Another thing she suggests is discarding after a certain amount of time.
Like a time limit.
Yeah, she says 3 years for most things.
3 years, okay.
And even less time for things like magazines or, stuff that's time sensitive.
Yeah. That makes sense if I haven't used something in 3 years.
Chances are you're not gonna.
Probably not. It really makes you realize how much we hang on to just in case.
Totally. It's that sometime illusion we talked about.
Right. So by setting a time limit, we're forcing ourselves to make a choice.
Exactly. No more putting it off forever.
Okay, what other strategies does she have? I'm starting to feel like I can actually do this.
He also says to discard when something's served its purpose,
Like when you're done using it?
Yeah, like gifts you got but never really liked.
Okay.
Or seasonal stuff you only use for a bit.
Or even those instruction manuals.
Oh, yeah. Once you've figured out how something works.
Exactly. I have a whole drawer full of those for things I don't even own anymore.
It happens. We hold on to things out of habit. Or because we feel like we should.
Yeah, but Kondo's saying we got to question whether they're actually still serving us.
Right.
This is great. What about stuff we have too much of, though? Oh, like multiples of the same thing.
Yeah, like I have way more towels than I could ever need.
Oh, I totally get that. Kondo talks about that, too.
She does.
Yeah, she says discard when you have more than the necessary number.
Like set a limit.
Exactly. And that goes for towels, stationery, even medicine.
Wow, I never thought of it that way.
So easy to just keep accumulating these things.
I know. It's like I'm always stocking up, even when I have plenty.
It's a common thing. It comes from that fear of not having enough,
Even when we have more than enough.
Right. But Kondo says we need to learn to trust.
Trust that we'll have what we need.
Exactly.
Okay, so what about the things that are hard to let go of? The sentimental stuff or things we feel guilty about getting rid of?
That's a good question. Well, Kondo suggests trying different ways to get rid of things.
Not just throwing everything in the trash.
Right, like maybe sell gently used things online or at a consignment shop,
Oh, okay.
or donate things to charity,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
or even recycle stuff that can be given a new life. I like that. It's like giving things a second chance.
Exactly. And it can help with that guilt we sometimes feel.
It feels better knowing that something's going to a good cause.
It does.
So, besides these strategies, are there any other like general tips Kondo gives for creating a more clutter-free life?
Yeah, there are. One thing she talks about is designating no clutter zones.
No clutter zones. What's that?
It's like setting boundaries in your home to prevent clutter from piling up.
Oh, I see. So it's like a preemptive strike against the clutter. Like what
That's,
kind of zones are we talking about?
well, she mentions the kitchen table, for example.
Okay.
It's meant for eating and connecting, not for stacking mail or papers.
Right. If you keep it clear, it reminds you of how nice it is to have a clutter-free space.
Exactly. It's like a little oasis of calm.
I like that. Any other zones she suggests?
The entryway to your home?
Oh, the first thing you see when you walk in.
Yeah, it sets the tone for the rest of your space.
That's so true. So if you keep it tidy...
It's like you're coming into a calm and welcoming environment.
Okay, I'm definitely going to try that. What about sharing the responsibility, though? It can be really overwhelming to tackle clutter alone.
You're right, it's a lot to handle. Kondo actually encourages us to divide up those disposal responsibilities.
Like at home and at work.
Yeah, it helps avoid confusion and resentment.
Makes sense. Everyone knows what they're supposed to be doing.
Right. It's about working together towards the same goal, you know?
A shared vision of a more clutter-free life.
Exactly. And you know what? It can actually be fun.
Fun decluttering.
Yeah. When you do it as a team, it becomes a shared journey.
You can support each other
Celebrate your wins.
and learn from each other's approaches.
Exactly. So it's not about one person dictating the rules.
It's
No.
about creating a sense of shared ownership and responsibility.
I like that. But, we've talked about the roadblocks and the shifting our mindset and all these practical strategies.
But how does all this actually translate to finding more joy?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
It is, because that's what we're all looking for, isn't it? It really is the million-dollar question. How does letting go of stuff actually bring more joy?
Yeah, it might seem counterintuitive, right?
It does.
But think about it. When you let go of things that aren't serving you anymore,
You create space for something else.
exactly. You make room for the things that really matter.
It's like when you finally clear out a cluttered room, you know?
I love that feeling.
You can finally breathe again.
You feel lighter.
Yeah, more energetic.
That's like all that visual noise is gone.
It really is. So it's not just about a tidy house. It's like,
It's about being more mindful.
yeah, more intentional about how we live.
Exactly. When we're aware of what we're bringing into our lives
We can start to appreciate the things we already have.
and make choices that actually reflect what we value.
So it's a whole lifestyle change, really.
It is. It's about creating a life that's full of joy and meaning.
This is so inspiring. But everyone's different, right?
Of course.
So there's no one right way to declutter.
Exactly. It's a personal journey.
What works for one person might not work for another.
Right. So just take away the strategies that resonate with you.
And use them in a way that feels right for your own life.
Don't worry about being perfect.
Progress over perfection, right?
Exactly. Just focus on making progress one step at a time.
I love that. So for our listener who's ready to dive in and start decluttering,
What's one thing they can do right now?
yeah, what's one actionable step they can take today to experience that magic of discarding?
I'd say choose a small area to start with.
Okay, like what?
It could be a drawer, a corner of your desk, a shelf.
Keep it manageable.
Yeah. And then try out one of Kondo's strategies on that space.
Just experiment and see how it feels.
Yeah, exactly. Notice that feeling of letting go.
Creating some breathing room.
It can be really transformative.
So powerful. So there you have it, folks. Our deep dive into Marie Kondo's The Art of Discarding.
Hopefully you got some great insights from it.
And some practical tips to help you declutter your space.
And maybe even your life.
Remember, it's not about deprivation. It's about creating a more joyful and intentional way of living.
You deserve to be surrounded by things that spark joy.
And as always, the most important takeaway is the one that speaks to you.
What will you choose to let go of today?
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.